Welcome to the show. My name is Christian Hanahara, and I got my boy Nick here. Now, what this is the Uneeda Horror Podcast. Now, if you know me at all, you know that my all-time favorite movie is Return of the Living Dead. So I had to brand a podcast completely after that. So if you know from the movie, you need a medical name of the store, blah blah blah. So you get where the branding comes from. But before we get started, I just want to give you a little. This is what's going on. I love podcasts. Okay, when I go running, I listen to podcasts. Like I haven't listened to an album when I went running in a long time, and I wanted to kind of do so like a podcast. And I do one with my friend Drew. We do the Firefly Family Podcast, and I love that. We do movie commentaries, but I wanted to do something really long form. And when Nick re-entered my life, I've known it for a long time, but when he re-entered my life by the grace of God, I was like, you know what? I need to have Nick do a show with me because, we all the conversations we probably should have had in the past, we just never did because we're busy, we're growing up, we're around the same age, that kind of thing. But we're here. It's a new day. It's a new era. So Nick, what's going on, brother? How are you doing today?
I am doing well, man. I'm enjoying the air conditioning at home since I don't have it at work, and I'm relaxing, man. How you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm good. I'm excited because what we're talking about tonight is one of my favorite topics. It's physical media, right? We're talking about Scream Factory. Uh, and I guess before we get in, we have to mention the real birth of Scream Factory started before Scream Factory. And it's called Shout Factory, right? And here's a little bit about Shout Factory. We're going to kind of talk about where we were and what happened. So, Shout Factory is an American home video and music company founded in 2002 as Retropolis Entertainment. Its video releases previously included films, classic and contemporary television series, animation, live music, and comedy specials. Shout Factory also owns and operates Shout Studios, Westchester Films, Timeless Media Group, Biograph Records, Majordomo Records, whatever that is, and Video Time Machine. So this Scream Factory really isn't that old, Nick. We know when the first Scream Factories came out, and that was 2012, right? And do you remember those two monumental releases for Scream Factory?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but were these the Halloween ones?
Yeah, it was Halloween 2 and Halloween
Yes,
3.
2 and 3. Yep.
Uh, yeah. But the thing about Shout Factory is they started out, when I first got into collecting physical media, I loved certain television shows. There was a show called Spin City that had Michael J. Fox in it. And it was this really great sitcom about like government, and it was really funny. And that was probably the first Shout Factory thing I ever bought. And I didn't realize what Shout Factory was until Scream Factory. I never paid attention to the label on a side of a DVD. But the reason, I'll tell you this: the way I found out about Scream Factory was actually through one of your videos. I remember you just doing one of your Halloween collection videos, and I remember you were showing your blue DVDs of Halloween's 2 and 3, and you were talking about these films really need good restorations, but that's okay. Scream Factory is fixing that for us. Do you remember the hype
Oh yeah. I mean the
about
the
these two
hype.
releases? Could you talk? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no. The hype was through the roof, and it was through the roof for me personally because I can't remember if it was like a press release from them or if it was just speculation throughout the fandom. The Halloween message board was really where we were talking about it a lot. May the OHB rest in peace. It's no longer there. And word had gotten around that at least with Halloween 3's edition that was coming out, we were going to have special features, and we'd never had that on any release of Halloween 3 up to that point. I mean, the most you had, I think, was like a trailer. Like that was it. So I was like, holy crap, we're going to get a making of, we're going to get, interviews, we're going to get all this stuff that we'd never gotten before. And so the hype for me was through the roof because, as you know, and as you feel the same way, Halloween 3 kicks ass. Love that movie. And I wanted to see I wanted some making of, I wanted some interviews. I wanted an in-depth dive at a movie that never got it because it was so underappreciated. So yeah, the hype was insane. And I remember I bought 3. I think I pre-ordered it. But I didn't pre-order 2. And I don't know why. I think it was because I had seen some Halloween 2 special features up to that point, but I just had a craving for Halloween 3 special features. So I pre-ordered it. I got it. I didn't get 2 till a couple months later, but yeah, the hype was insane.
Yeah, and if memory serves, the only behind the scenes, so to speak, on Halloween 3, and it really wasn't even a behind the scenes really, but it kind of was the 25 Years of Terror. When that DVD came out, they had that little making of all the movies, and they really only scratched the surface. But I remember being so over the moon about Halloween 3 getting a Blu-ray and the release it had, and I'll never forget when those two movies went up for pre-order. My wife, my then girlfriend, we were on the line and we were looking at them. And this is something interesting because Scream Factory, I don't think, has done this since Halloween 3. If you pre-ordered from the website, it came with the poster done by Nathan Thomas Milliner, which was also the cover, the artwork for the movie that they did.
Yep.
But Halloween 2 came with a nurse cap that said Haddonfield Memorial Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick, you notice they never ever did anything kind of like that again. It was always the poster. Did you ever know anybody that got the nurse cap? Because I didn't have the money to buy both of them at the time, right? I was a kid, I was 18, 19, 20 years old at the time, whatever it was, 20, I think. But I was in school, so I can only get one, right? So I got the Halloween 3 because obviously I had to get the Halloween 3. Did you know anybody who had the nurse cap, or did you get the nurse cap? Because I thought that kind of turned me off, to be honest with you.
Okay. No, I didn't get the nurse cap. I'm trying to rack my brain and see if I remember anybody that got it. In my immediate circle, no. I've obviously seen videos on YouTube of people that got it, but no, not in my immediate circle. And I remember from what you're saying when it comes to them never doing a release like that again. I mean, that just goes to show you that they knew that there was a hankering for new editions of these two movies. So they really wanted to, push. They wanted to promo that. They wanted to give people even more of a reason to buy it. It was kind of their foray into the genre. And obviously, what better way to come in than to tap into one of the craziest fan bases in horror, which is, Halloween fans are right there with a lot, the big three really in general. But no, I don't know anyone, but I remember seeing it on their website. And I actually remember on the Halloween message board, if memory serves me, one of the mods, his name was the Shape 78. He got
Mm-hmm.
it. And I remember him posting about it, and that's where I actually saw it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I thought at the time, I don't know how I'd feel about it now. I thought it was a cool touch, but yeah, no, man, I didn't know anybody personally.
And here's a list right here of this. So this is the Scream Factory releases in order, okay? And I want to look at some of the initial releases that they did, and it'd be interesting to see which ones are actually out of print at this point, which ones aren't. So technically, the first release was Halloween 2. And really quick, I want to talk about that great making of on Halloween 2. You know, that was the first time I ever really got to, I say no, got to see and hear like Rick Rosenthal kind of talk. And I really took a liking to him. I liked the way he was just like, I'm stepping into another world. I'm not going to step on anybody's toes. I'm not going to try to screw around with what this is. I liked his approach. And there's always drama with these movies. The girl who had to get topless in the
Pamela Susan Shoop, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, thank you. She decides to say that she didn't want to do the scene. She got talked into doing it, but everybody was watching her. And do you remember what Rick Rosenthal said? He was like, "That's BS. I directed that scene in a thong."
Yeah.
And all I can do is picture Rick Rosenthal. And for some reason, Nick, in my mind, he's wearing flip flops too.
Oh yeah, he has to. He has to.
He's not barefoot. He's
No.
wearing flip flops and a thong directing that scene.
Oh yeah.
But what a great dude! Those making ofs were absolutely amazing. And real
Well,
quick, I mean, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was just going to say to your point there, what you're talking about. Another crazy thing we learned about that scene was that the water was freezing cold, and Dick Warlock talks about how he felt super bad for having to dunk Pamela under there because it was so cold, and he's like, I'm dunking her under there, and my hands freezing. I can't imagine like what her face is like in this water. So not only are they like, hey, we're going to drown you in this tub that's freezing cold, but you also have to be naked. So I personally, that probably was a miserable experience for her. But yeah, I remember them talking about that scene. That scene was a mess behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah, so great making ofs. I mean, the Halloween 3 one was a home run. It was I always call them the integrity releases, or I call them the when they just I don't know, I forget the word I have for them, but it's when like movies that truly deserve good releases get them. And I couldn't think of a better movie. I mean, to start out a label like Scream Factory, to start out with Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. I mean, that is talk about a home run gateway release. It really doesn't get much better than that. But we'll talk more about Halloween with Scream Factory pretty soon. But so Nick, here are some of the releases, and if you want to comment on some of these, please go ahead. The third release was Toby Hooper's The Fun House.
Okay.
Which I love that movie so much. Still in print till this day, by the way.
Yep.
Next, which is out of print, is Terror Train, which is another Jamie Lee Curtis slasher film.
One of the only Jamie Lee films I have not seen, people. I am sorry.
It's good. You can get it now, but it's out of print from Scream Factory. You got to get it from Code Red, which they actually did a better. One thing about that release was they, unfortunately, they didn't do a good transfer on that. It doesn't look that good. But one thing I want to note something, Nick. This is interesting. Let me name a few more releases, then I'll comment on what I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Death Valley came out next. I don't have that. The Island, which I believe was written by the guy who wrote Jaws. Deadly Blessing, which is a Wes Craven film. Then they did The Nest. Then a really good release, which I haven't and love it, is Prison. That's a great movie. TerrorVision, The Video Dead. Then From Beyond, Phantasm 2. I'll do the first 20 releases. The Vampire Lovers. Then we got The Burning, which is a staple for pretty much anybody's Scream Factory collection. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. The Evictors. Ninja 3, The Domination, which is hilarious. The Howling, Life Force, and then Dead Souls. So that's the first 20 releases. So in those 20 releases, you've got staples, obviously, such as Halloween 2 and 3, Terror Train, They Live, which was a monumental release for that film, Prison, From Beyond, which is one of the best Stuart Gordon movies, Phantasm 2, which is actually my favorite Phantasm, and The Burning, and The Howling. So those are probably some of the biggest stapled releases. But what's interesting, Nick, is when I first started collecting Scream Factory, I wasn't sold on Blu-ray yet. Like, I really wasn't buying that much Blu-ray. So I got to Halloween 3 on Blu-ray, but I actually, till this day, I bought the initial release of Halloween 2 as a DVD release.
DVD.
Right, and they don't do that anymore, obviously. And I'm not talking, there's a lot of times they'll do Blu-ray DVD combos, but I'm talking, I bought it strictly a DVD release of Halloween 2. Do you remember seeing those in stores when they came out?
Yes, I do. I remember it was actually where I bought Halloween 2's release, the Blu-ray at Best Buy. I want to say in 2013 or 2014, because like I said, I didn't get 2 when I got 3. And I was actually at the store. What I used to do, and I don't know if you ever did this as somebody that, owns a lot of movies yourself. I mean, God, my mind pales in comparison to yours, but as a collector of film, when you go, you'll have days where you go to a store and you have a little bit of extra money that you're like, should I put it aside? No, I'm going to spend it. And what do we spend it on? We spend it on movies. And I ended up at Best Buy, and they had a section. They had 2 and 3. They had the DVD releases and the Blu-ray releases. I almost bought the DVD release of 2 because it was like $10 cheaper. And I am always going to be the type of person that always second guesses before I make a purchase. Like, should I bite the bullet on this one? But I went with the Blu-ray. But yeah, I remember seeing those. It was crazy because also at Best Buy, they were almost completely out of Halloween 3, but they had a ton of 2. And that just goes to show, again, like what we were talking about at the top, which is that a lot of people wanted that Halloween 3. I mean, that was like, people wanted that. So, but yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, I do too. I remember seeing, and funnily enough, I remember seeing the DVD versions, not the Blu-ray versions, but the DVD releases with slipcovers and all that at Target. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know why. Looking back, I wish I just would have snagged one of the Halloween 3 DVD versions, but I didn't. Yeah. But I still, of course, have my initial releases. I own every single release that Scream Factory's ever put out of Halloween 3, every single one. So inevitably, when they put that out on 4K, God knows I will be pre-ordering the hell out of that, and maybe we'll get our Dan Chalice figure or a Colonel Cochran figure. That would be cool, huh?
Hey, I'm still
All right, so
waiting to
Nick,
get the
let's move on.
Colonel Cochran.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So,
Mhm.
unfortunately, some of the great releases like Phantasm 2 went out of print like that. They did not last long. Um, a lot of these are still in print, like The Burning. You can still get that. I don't know which company owns that. Filmways Pictures. So I guess they have that company's such a probably a subsidiary of something that Scream Factory. It's probably pennies for them to keep up that license, while others aren't. So they've lost the release of that. Avco Embassy had The Howling. They still have that available, which is it is my favorite werewolf film. So let's go to the next few. The number 21 released is another huge release. John Carpenter's The Fog,
Yes, sir.
which was such a great release. And it's funny when that movie got announced. Had bought a DVD probably like a day ago, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch this." But I wanted to wait for my Blu-ray, but I was like, "No, let me just go ahead and watch it." I mean, you're probably pretty big fan of that film.
Love it. Second favorite Carpenter film.
Yeah. And do you have that one on Blu-ray?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
And do you remember, like, great? What's interesting is they got Jamie Lee. I mean, Scream Factory. They've had certain ups and downs with their special features. Some releases, I don't want to say they dropped the ball. I don't think that's fair. I think they did what they could. Other times, I think they might have wanted to penny pinch and not go for some of these people. I don't know, but I mean, when you first got those releases, Nick, you damn sure knew you were going to get interviews from the stars of the movie. So I mean, you were expecting a Jamie Lee interview in this one, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it seems to that point, it almost seems like Scream Factory knew. I don't know, and I don't know how to put this because there are a lot of fans of all of these films that they put out, but it seems like they almost knew which ones were the ones that people really wanted to see, and those were the ones that they put the money behind to get the interviews, to get the special features making of, all that. And then some of the other ones that maybe there wasn't such a hankering for, or at least they didn't see such a hankering for, they were kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, we'll remaster it, new transfer, we'll put it out, new art, whatever. But they didn't put a lot of the, you know, a lot of their touch into it. But with The Fog, with Halloween 2, with Halloween 3, just a few that come to mind, They Live, like, I thought those were really good releases. But yeah, the Fog is that is my favorite edition of The Fog that I own.
Absolutely. So yeah, Fog. I remember. I have that. I bought that with a poster. A lot of those old ones I bought with the posters because I was eating up that artwork that they were doing. I mean, the artwork was. I mean, it was. I don't know, man. I just felt like they couldn't. For like the first year and a half, Nick, I really didn't think Scream Factory could do any wrong. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
same.
Yeah.
They were in my
So,
good graces after Halloween 2 and 3. I was like, oh, these guys are legit. And like you said, there have been a couple releases since then where you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. But for a while there, I was on that high of like they can do no wrong. So
yeah. And seemingly they weren't. So after that, we get movies like The Incredible Melting Man, Swamp Thing, X-Ray, and Schizoid, which is double pack. Dark Angel, which I love that. That's a great Dolph Lundgren movie. Q the Winged Serpent, Cockneys vs. Zombies, Scanners 2 and 3. And then the 29th release, another really big release, was Day of the Dead, which is it could be one of the very last Blu-ray and DVD releases, and I got the DVD release of Day of the Dead from Walmart of all places. Do you remember seeing that one in stores anywhere?
yes, sir. Yep. Walmart, Target, Best Buy. It was everywhere from
Yeah.
what I remember.
Yeah, it was everywhere, and that's probably one of my favorites. Got George Romero on the special features of that, and that was on September 17th, 2013. I should be saying the dates of some of these releases, so I'll make sure I do that from now on. After that, they came out swinging on October 23rd. On September 24th, 2013, which is probably like, in my opinion, like the best era of Scream Factory. We got the Prince of Darkness, that got a DVD individual releases too. But Prince of Darkness is probably in my top 5 favorite John Carpenter films. I don't know where it is. It could be 3 or 4, but God Almighty, that's one of my favorites. And I had watched that it's funny because I had gotten the DVDs of these movies literally weeks before these were announced. So I was double dipping like a son of a bitch
Mm-hmm.
at this time. But I'm assuming you're a big fan of that one as well.
Yeah. It's in my top 5 as well, Carpenter films.
Yeah, love it. I grew up Catholic, so like I was always I was always raised to believe the devil is real everywhere. So that movie always hit home for me. I love it. I love it. September 24th, which looks like it's the following week. God, Psycho 3 came out from Scream Factory. Two more. I mean, dude, they were crushing it in 2013. But they were really a lot of these films, Nick. I don't think they had ever hit Blu-ray before because we're really not too old into the lifespan of Blu-ray. We're like in the second trimester, basically, the start of it. You know,
I mean, because Blu-ray really, I mean, I think it's all subjective to say when it really took off, but I mean, I don't think it really started to catch on until the back half of the first 10 years of the 2000s.
Yeah.
I would say 2007, 2008 is really when it started to become widely seen in stores, and then it would probably not be till 2010, 2011 when it was the main form of physical media that you could find.
Yeah, I think so too. Because even like me, dude, I own Blu-rays. I had a Blu-ray player, but actually, I mean, excuse me, I had a PlayStation 3, which one day when you realize the importance of PlayStation, because DVDs became a thing because DVD players were expensive, but everybody bought a PlayStation 2, and that played. So then everybody started buying DVDs, and
Yep.
I don't know that it caught on as quick with the PlayStation 3 because that system had a lot of problems upon release. But I don't know. I do feel like Blu-ray. I think Blu-ray came out around 2006 ish, and then it was battling with HD DVD, so that threw everybody off, and nobody was like, "Well, I'm not buying none of that because what's going to live and what's going to die." But yeah, Blu-ray was still like, I would say it was 50 to 60% of households around this time, but it hadn't, you know, DVD's still around, to be honest with you. I mean, people still buy DVD. The average person, I think, still buys DVDs if they buy anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I don't personally buy a DVD anymore unless I see a really unique one. Like I saw Dream Masters Snapper Case DVD release a couple months ago, and I had to buy it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think a lot of your casual moviegoers, they're getting DVDs still. So
yeah. All right. So then we got the Amityville Horror Trilogy, which was great. And I think that's out of print, and that was on October 1st. So in the end of 2013, let's look for some more big ones. We got movies like, okay, so they're doing a lot of, in October, they were doing a lot of old school movies. They got The Abominable Dr. Phibes, Dungeon Master Catacombs. So they started getting the Empire Library, which was Charles Band. On November 12th, we got Body Bags, which that's still in print, and that was from Showtime, which I believe that was a television movie from John Carpenter, but love that one. Great little movie. Great special features. That actually has his wife, Sandy King, which she's a producer, and she was in that one, which was great to see. And I love that little TV movie John did.
Yeah. I mean, God, I haven't seen it in so long, but I know exactly which movie you're talking about because I think I did see it on TV. God, it's probably been 10 years, but no, yeah, I don't remember it being bad. I mean, shit, I'm someone that was even kind of a fan of his last movie, The Ward.
The Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
All right, so we will continue some more notable releases. We got Night of the Demons in early February, Cat People, which I love Cat People, The Beast Within, Witchboard, rest in peace, Tony Katan. We get movies like Darkman in the first quarter of 2014. We started getting into some more undergroundish titles around this time, which was interesting. Nosferatu the Vampire, which I wouldn't call that underground, but to the average horror fan, they haven't seen that. But then we got Sleepaway Camp in the end of the first quarter of 2014, and that was a big one. Collector's edition, uncut version, and that's one that what's interesting is Sleepaway Camp is still in print, but parts 2 and 3 are done from Scream Factory, and they go for $50-$60 online, and if you want it with the slipcover, like $100. Where are you at on this slipcover thing? Why do people want these slipcovers so much?
I I don't know. I mean, there's certain releases that I enjoy the slipcover, and then there's certain releases that I feel like it's a waste of time because it's the same art that I'm getting on the inside. So why? For example, Halloween 3's slipcover, I'm a fan of because it's updated art. And then when you take that off, I have flipped the inner artwork to be the old school poster. So I have both editions of artwork once I take the slipcover off. That one I'm cool with. But I hate, for example, I'm looking at my shelf right now and I just look at first movie I see, Three from Hell. Okay. Three from Hell's 4K. You got this nice sleek slip cover. You take it off, it is the exact same cover. I don't know. I've never been huge on it. I'm someone that actually likes chapter inserts, the little mini poster with the chapter, the scenes on the back. I liked those. I always took that as a little poster. But slip covers, I can do without.
Yeah. Yeah, you said it best. People will spend money on these things. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. Then we
Yeah.
got movies like Ginger. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you were talking about Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. I was actually looking into those Blu-rays the other day, and I was like, "Oh, these are ridiculously priced." Like
Mhm.
it was insane to me. But
Yeah.
like we said, people will buy them. So
Yep. So soon we get in the middle in the middle semester of 2014, movies like Without Warning, Motel Hell, which just got a steelbook not long ago. Lake Placid, great little movie from Steve Miner. Pumpkinhead,
uh,
um, and later that year, um, actually probably 4 or 5 months prior, Scream Factory announced something massive for 2014. And I always tell people the Friday the 13th box set was awesome. It was so awesome. But the hype for the Halloween box set was, to me, it was unmatched. Because for me, it came out of nowhere. When it got announced, I my jaw dropped. Because Nick, how before that, all people would do would say, "Oh, what if we got this?" Or "What if?" Do you remember the first time you heard about them doing this?
yeah, HalloweenMovies.com like was part of the announcement because obviously Trancas and I used to frequent the message board every day, and I was just blown away. I couldn't even put into words how I felt because it was something that we talked about all the time on the board that we never saw as a realistic possibility because um, there were so many different hands in the pot, and it was like we never thought all of these companies could get together with all the rights issues and licensing and be able to put one box set together. I mean, you have Dimension, you have Miramax, you have Trancas, you have De Laurentiis. You have so many different people that have been involved, and you're like, "There's no way." Well, they did it. I mean, they did it, and I was just, yeah, I was over the moon about it. And then to hear coinciding with the announcement when you go through this, everything that's involved, and it's like, "Oh yeah, and we're going to get a Blu-ray cut of Halloween 6, the producer's cut." I was like, "What? How did you manage that?" And so, yeah, that I don't think to this day, to your point, I don't think I've ever been more excited for a release than that.
Yeah, I remember when I first heard about this. We're both big Halloween 6 fans, right?
Oh yeah,
You
love it.
know,
I think it's
I had
underappreciated.
Yeah, I had never seen the producer's cut top to bottom. I would go on YouTube and type in Halloween 6 deleted scenes, and I would see the stuff out of context. So you can imagine how weird it was just seeing those scenes, not seeing it in the movie, but I'll be like, "Oh my god, what the hell is this?" I felt like I was seeing something I shouldn't have been seeing, right? So when they announced that they were doing it, dude, I was that had me over the moon excited because I was finally going to be able to see this movie for the first time legitimately and on Blu-ray. And I'll never forget, dude, when the pre-order went up, I had never pre-ordered anything so fast in my life besides another release, but we'll get there. I had never pre-ordered something so fast and been so excited. Did you pre-order the box set or did you buy it in stores?
Oh no, I didn't pre-order it because when I had the money for it, it was like no longer available for pre-order. But actually been messaging with someone, one of the mods on the Halloween message board. He was like, I don't know how he was so in the know, but he was like, don't worry, like that's not going to be the only run of it. Like it's not out of print. And I was like, okay. So I waited like a month after it came out, and it was on Amazon.
Right.
The one I bought was brand new. It hadn't been even opened before, and I paid $120 for it when I think initially it was like, I don't know, was it 80 to 100? So I paid a little bit more than its retail, but
yeah, and I think that sounds about right for me because I pre-ordered it with the lithograph, excuse me, and I remember going to FYE around this time. Now the box set was its release date was September 23rd.
yeah.
2014, but obviously you kind of got it 2 weeks early if you pre-ordered from Scream Factory. And I remember seeing one at FYE, and it was like $139.99.
Mhm.
They upcharge it a little bit to get into stores, but what's funny was when I went to there to see it, I saw a guy walk in, literally shout, and he went and grabbed it. So he got the one from FYA, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to me, that's the greatest box set ever released. Till this, I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I love to death my Friday the 13th box set, but because of the hype for this and the fact that it really hadn't been done before. I mean, because Friday the 13th has Paramount and New Line. To your point, Halloween has Trancas, Universal, Trancas again, Miramax, many hands on the pies.
The
Akkad,
Weinstein Company,
yeah.
all that.
Oh, not to mention Anchor Bay had the physical media release for parts 1, 4, 5. So there's so many hands in that pie. And the fact that they did that is shocking to me. Now, not only that, I didn't know at first too either that they were doing a companion release, which was the 10 disc set, which I own it because I'm a whore and I had to have all of them.
Yeah.
But the only difference is that one doesn't have the bonus disc, which is basically uncut interviews more or less, and it didn't have the producer's cut of Halloween 6. So if you wanted the producer's cut at that time, you had to have that set. That was the big selling point of that set, was the producer's cut.
Yep. And the crazy thing about that box set too is it just down to every detail. I mean, they just nailed it. From opening it, just seeing, first of all, the artwork on the outside, then the black Blu-ray cases, which is such a simple touch, but an awesome touch. The original theatrical run posters as the cover art for every film with the taglines and everything. The transfers, as Christian would say, money. The included special features. I mean, I could go on and on, but yeah, that and then that final disc that you were talking about, the bonus disc, that's like 5 to 6 hours of special features that you miss out on if you don't have that edition. And you mentioned the 10 disc. I was at FYE when I was there about a week and a half ago, and I was a whore and splurged for a bunch of Blu-rays that I did a video on, but I saw it there, and it was like $89.99 or something like that. And part of me is like you. I'm diehard with Halloween, and I'm like, dude, I have to get this. But I didn't buy it, but I know I'm going to eventually get it because if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the 15 disc set is available anymore. I think the only way you can buy that is used through someone else on, say, Amazon or eBay.
Yeah, and they run about $350.
Yeah, no. I will tell you guys right now, anybody listening, if you are a Halloween fan or a horror fan, and it is a must-have for you, and you got to shell out $300 or so, I would do it if you have to have it because it is a fantastic set. But as Christian said, that 10 disc set suffices for sure, especially since now you have a standalone Blu-ray of the producer's cut. So,
well, that's out of print too.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, that producer's cut from Miramax is out of print, which I have that.
Wow. Yeah, I have
which,
it too.
And it's the same. It's pretty much the same thing. So, the 15 disc set is long out of print, and that 10 disc set is out of print. And I bought the 10 disc set at a Walmart for maybe $40, and now those are like $100-something online too.
Yep.
So none of it's cheap anymore. Just none of it's cheap anymore. So the rest of 2014 looks pretty good. Some notable releases were Nightbreed in the latter part of the year. Great movie, and that had the standard edition and the director's cut edition release. We would get movies like Dolls, which is a staple from Empire Pictures. Other movies like Candyman 2. And of course, and that was early 2015 when Candyman 2 came out. But what is everybody saying when Candyman 2 comes out? Where's Candyman? We want Candyman on Blu-ray. And that movie hadn't made it to Blu-ray yet. I don't think so.
What? Farewell
Yeah.
to the Flesh made it to Blu-ray before the first one?
I think so.
That is wild.
Some notable other slash releases. You got New Year's Evil, and that was early 2015. Invaders from Mars, which is a canon picture from Toby Hooper. The Babadook. I remember the Babadook. Had you seen the Babadook? You know that movie? It really took the internet by storm when that movie came out. And what's interesting about the Babadook is I think that it got when it was streaming on Netflix, it got put in. I think it accidentally got put into the gay homosexual section. And so the movie got a fan. I'm serious. So it got a fan base in the like the homosexual, gay market on streaming and stuff, and it got love from that crowd. So there's a release of the Babadook with a rainbow slipcover for the movie because it was a total accidental thing. And yeah, I don't have that, but I kind of want to get that one. But yeah, it took the internet by storm. I saw it. I like it. There's some things I don't like about it, but it got praised big time. So moving on.
Compared to Babadook, when the Babadook came out, I would compare that to the reception was similar to what you got with Hereditary. I think that Hereditary kind of took the internet and the horror community by storm when that came out. The Babadook was one of those, and for better or worse, I think Hereditary is by miles better than that movie. But the Babadook, yeah, it was pretty good. The symbolism, the metaphors, yeah, I enjoyed the movie.
I get excited when movies do that, whether I love them or not. I love it when the horror community is excited about something.
Oh yeah,
no bullshit. They're just excited about something. I think that's great. All right, so summertime of 2015 is when we did get Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, and those just would not last very long. I think they were available for a few years, and there's nobody really knows exactly why, but they're still available overseas from 88 Films. They're still readily available, but Scream Factory, done. Can't have them anymore. Let's see. So let's get to the end of 2015. Some other notable titles. Well, summertime, we got People Under the Stairs, which is a great Wes Craven film. Love that one.
Yes.
We got Shocker in the summer of 2015. I was buying these movies heavy at this point. I was going to FYE to get them because I didn't buy movies online that often for some weird reason.
I frequented FYE and Suncoast a lot.
Yeah. So latter part of 2015, some other notable titles. Let's see. They ended strong with Garbage Pail Kids movie, which is nuts. Ghost Story, a fun one. They had a Troll 2 double pack, which is also expensive now if you want to try to find that. So let's move a little bit into 2016. They really start out some more newer movies, meaning like 90s. We would start seeing around the end of the first quarter movies like Disturbing Behavior, Cherry Falls coming out. And I was excited about that because are you a fan of the latter 90s post Scream slasher craze?
Not a popular opinion in my household, but yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Brooke is not a fan. I've tried to show her some of those movies. Oh, no, she hates them, but I enjoy them.
Yeah. I do like movies like Cherry Falls. Greta, great slasher movie. Disturbing Behavior is great. So let's see. They were busy. Oh, and March 24th, 2016, they put out one of my favorite movies, Manhunter, which is amazing Michael Mann film. That's out of print and very expensive now. Let's get to the controversy. On June 14th, 2016, we got a double release of Jeepers Creepers and Jeepers Creepers 2 with interviews from Victor Salva on there.
Who thought that was a good idea? Like,
You know, it's interesting because, we may as well talk about this. Jeepers Creepers 3, when that was announced and the stuff came out, the kid who was in the movie Clown House, right?
Mhm.
He basically just told his story. He goes, "Look, I just want to let everybody know what happened to me because I see this movie's coming out." And he actually wasn't really being vindictive. If you go back and read what he said, he wasn't saying, "Screw this movie, don't support it." He just said, I've never told my story. I just want to tell it." And he told the people what happened. And Victor was a pedophile. And that movie Clown House, I've seen it, and you can tell that the kid's in his drawers a lot in the movie, and it's a weird movie. I actually kind of like the movie, but I feel guilty. It's hard to watch it now because of that, because it's the actual kid that went through some of this stuff. But you know, I kind of knew about it. It was in the rumblings, but it really wasn't talked about overtly. It seemed like at this point. I mean, you had known about Victor at this point, had you, or no?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I remember when I bought the Blu-rays, because look, I will say this. I have no problem saying this. I love the Jeepers Creepers films. I don't feel bad about it. I support the people that are in the movie. I support the actors that do the movie. I support everything about it. That doesn't mean I like Victor Salva. I shouldn't have to say that on the internet, but the world we live in, I just got to make that clear. Of course. Why would I support Victor Salva? He's scum. But I
Yeah,
love the movie. I don't want
and
the people that worked hard on that movie and did the work in that movie and that shot the film and all this. I don't want the movie to disappear because of their hard work.
and I say
You
that
know?
to people all the time. There's the argument that you have of separating the art from the artist, and I know that can be super hard. And quite frankly, in this situation, I cannot separate the art from the artist when it comes to Salva. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
However, hundreds of people worked to make these movies, and why should all of them suffer for one person? Again, that the whole point that we're talking about that got us on this topic is just why would Scream Factory, for all the good they've done, think that that is a good idea to include him on the release? I mean, if you want to release these films, awesome. They're fun movies. The first one, a modern horror classic, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
But to go down that route and include him in it is kind of, I don't know. I feel like I would have just not touched that. But
I do
that's
too. I mean, get interviews with the guy who played the creeper. I find it interesting. You almost wonder, did they just not know the people that were involved? There's no way they didn't know. I
no,
guess they
they knew.
just,
Yeah.
these are horror fans that make this stuff. Just it's very interesting to retrospect it, because I remember when we bought the movies and me and Sydney were watching them. I said, let's look at the special features. I was like, oh my god, like Victor Salva's doing interviews in this. I was shocked, and I watched them and everything, and I was like, Sydney, I can't believe, like, I was like, they interviewed him, and like, it's very, very interesting to look back on. That those movies are still available. They did a bundle pack of 1 and 2 together. Now it's like a budget Blu-ray, and there's no special features on it. I think they cut out all the special features. It's just the movies on there. For better or for worse, I'm assuming I want to put 2 and 2 together on that, but I'm not sure. But regardless, if you're a fan of those movies like me, get them, watch them, enjoy them. Doesn't mean you have to. That doesn't mean you support Victor Salva if you like those movies. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
Um. So next we got. Let's see. Okay, I have to talk about this. On July 19th, 2016, got the release of my all-time favorite movie on Blu-ray. I had owned it on Blu-ray before, Budget Blues that had come out. The Return of the Living Dead got released, and it's my all that I seriously think I was the first person to pre-order that. I swear to God, I've got the posters and everything, the double posters, the double slip cases. That is probably my favorite day as being a horror fan, because when your favorite movie gets that treatment, that special treatment release, and they roll out the red carpet for it, the greatest day of my life. I still tell people, if you never bought that, I feel so sorry for you. It's probably, they put everything into it. They took the great documentary, it's called More Brains, which was basically like, it's basically like Crystal Lake Memories. It's so comprehensive from start to finish. They included that entire thing on there. Great transfer for that movie. Everything is amazing. I love it. I was so happy that they put that out. I don't know if there's anything you want to add about Return of the Living Dead, Nick, but as you know,
Um,
when I say it's my favorite movie, it is literally my favorite movie. So I was so happy when they put that
yes,
out.
guys, this is Christian's favorite movie, and it's one of my favorite zombie movies. But I do not own the Scream Factory Blu-ray of it. I don't know why. Is it still in print?
No.
Well, then bend me over a barrel. But
And they go for about $100 now, 90 to $100 I've seen on eBay. You can get a little bit cheaper, but I've seen them sell for that. So,
but yeah, no, I know how you feel though. I mean, I know how you feel. You're talking about when Return of the Living Dead got that treatment. That going back a few minutes ago, it's how I felt with the box set of Halloween.
yeah.
It's just any of you guys listening, if you have, whatever your favorite film may be, if there's that holy grail release of it, imagine how you felt when that got announced. That's like being a kid on Christmas morning again. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's unparalleled.
It justifies love for the movie. It makes you feel like no. I love this movie for a reason. It really is that good because look at the effort they put into releasing that film, and it's my favorite.
Yep.
It like in a weird way it justifies it. It makes you feel like you're not a fraud for loving this movie that gets some bare bones crappy. Really, you know what I mean? It's important to us, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So in the latter part of 2016, we would get another staple from Universal Pictures. Scream Factory would put out John Carpenter's The Thing on October 11th, 2016. Now, this is one of my favorite releases by far. The Thing. I mean, what the hell do you say about The Thing? I mean, to me, that's the greatest John Carpenter film.
Yeah, I go back and forth a lot. Halloween's always going to be my favorite, but I go back and forth with The Fog and The Thing from 2 and 3. I mean, those 3 movies of his, I think they can do no wrong.
Yeah. Oh, without question. And that's a great release. I can't remember what new special features. I'm sure they had the main black guy in that movie who's done voice acting, and he's the one that quote unquote survives at the end. His name's slipping me. I love him though. He's awesome. His name's slipping me. He was also in They Live with Roddy Piper.
Yep.
But his name's slipping me. I'm so sorry. October 18th, another staple release. Scream Factory would put out Child's Play. Do you have that one? I mean, that was a big deal for me too.
I do. Yep.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I got this. They talk about rolling out the red carpet for that. When that release pre-ordered, I did the whole kit and caboodle deal for that. It was the movie with the slipcover, the box art for the toy box slipcover, and then it was a NECA toy, and it was shaped inside of a good guy box. I have that one too. That was a special one. Was this a store pickup for you?
Yes, it was a store pickup. See, I don't know what it was, but back in those, a few years ago, I was doing a lot of my shopping, like I said, at stores, not really pre-ordering online. And, hindsight, I wish I would have pre-ordered more online because some of these editions came with really cool shit if you pre-ordered it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know it. I was still buying in stores, too. A lot of the movies that I'm not talking about, like some of the smaller releases, like Dead Ringers and Carnage Park, What We Become. These were some of these IFC titles. Actually, Carrie was one I picked up. Carrie came out in October as well. Those were a lot of these I picked up from FYE. I still would be doing that, but my FYE, it went under.
Yeah, when I was at FYE last week, I was like, yeah, I thought you guys were gone. I couldn't find you. I was like, are you guys you're not going anywhere, are you? She was like, no, we're doing fine right now. I was like, thank God. Because you guys are my go-to. Yeah,
mine got screwed. It wasn't supposed to go under, but they raised the rent on them. I talked to the guy that was the manager, and they got screwed. They wanted him to leave. They raised the rent on him because somebody else wanted. It was a whole political thing, but I suffer from it. I didn't,
All of us physical media patriots suffer.
Yeah. This was a big deal for me. I don't know if you're a big RoboCop fan. I'm a massive RoboCop guy. March 21st. Yeah, March 21st, 2017. RoboCop 2 and 3 came out. Now there's a phenomenon going on with these. You see, my wife got me these when this came out. I was so excited. These go for so much money online. If you want the slipcover for part 2, people will pay $100 for it. Not the movie, just the slipcover. $100. I mean, I've got it. I bought it when it came out, but I don't know. the slipcover thing's just very interesting to me. These people love these slipcovers. I swear to God, there's a
Yeah, man.
market for this
If
thing.
you guys are someone that loves the slip covers, more power to you. You know, we're not hating or anything. It's just like, as two people that don't really care so much about it, I don't know, maybe sound off and let us know what it is about the slip covers that you guys love so much. I never understood it. I really didn't.
Moving on. So 2017 would be a good year. I'm not going to go over everything. You know, there's just so many releases, but some of the special ones that we would get. They would start rolling out some of the steel books. The Fog, Escape from New York got a steel book. They Live got a steel book. Some other great ones. So let's move a little bit closer till today.
I'm just waiting for you to mention the one that I've seen you talk about many times.
I'm
Christmas.
scared.
You already
Okay. Oh, are you talking about? Let me find the date for it. That's a great one. All right, so this has to be 2017. It's got to be 2017. It's got to be Silent Night, Deadly Night. That's what you're
Yes,
talking
sir.
about, right?
Yep.
All right, so you go ahead and tell me about. You're obviously a big fan of that one. While I'm looking up the date of this one, tell me about the release of that and how December 5th, 2017 was the release date of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now, this was the first time we got to see this movie, I believe, restored as well as it could be uncut, right? Didn't Anchor Bay
Yep.
put out a Blu-ray of it though?
Oh man, I want to say they did, and I want to say the transfer kind of sucked.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I was stoked for that because I'm a sucker for holiday like themed horror movies. Always have been, whether it's Halloween themed, whether it's Christmas themed. I mean, Christmas time, you get a lot of people that are like, I want to watch Elf, and I love that movie too. But I want to watch movies like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Black Christmas, and P2, and like all these types of movies. I love it. Can't get enough. And yeah, when that was announced, and I think I want to say it might be at my mom's still, but I want to say I owned that Anchor Bay Blu-ray, and I was super bummed by the transfer. I was so bummed. I was like, this does not look good. Like, it doesn't sound good. It doesn't look good. And when this got announced, I was like, oh, holy hell! Yeah, I was pumped for it, man.
Yeah, and you knew that Scream Factory was going to deliver. You just
Oh
knew
yeah,
that they were going to deliver. Yeah,
these
that's one of my.
classics, man. They deliver on the classics.
And in terms of slasher films, I have no problem saying, I've said it before. I think from that decade, the 80s, I think that Silent Night, Deadly Night, forget Christmas slasher. I really think it's one of the best
Yeah.
top to bottom slasher films. I love it so much.
Yeah, it is I mean, obviously, it's a staple Christmas time watch. If you don't watch it around Christmas time, you're missing out. But, I mean, honestly, I can pop that movie in and watch it pretty much any time of year. It's just really enjoyable. Like, I don't know.
Yep. So 2018 they'd stay busy, putting out a lot of steel books of the movies that we've talked about previously. A lot of John Carpenter's films got the steel books, which the thing that they did that was nice was 4K scans. So if you own the movie, but you really were a stickler for picture quality, you could get the better picture quality from these steel books, which was great. And I own a lot of them. So let's keep going. 2018 looks pretty good. In terms of big releases, there was a Wreck box set. Have you ever seen any of the Wreck films,
Yeah,
found footage
I've
movies?
seen the first one. Yep.
Yeah. They put that out, Halloween 2 and Halloween 3, October 9th, 2018, those steel books. And I was over the moon excited because I knew that those were going to be new 4K scans. Until this day, those, if you own those, that is the best way to watch those movies because the picture quality is the best release. Do you have any of those steel books?
Got them both. Love them. And like you
Yeah.
said, when I go to watch Halloween 2 or Halloween 3, I pull the Steelbook. Always.
Mm-hmm. I was really happy. I was really, really happy with Halloween 3's art. I really like Halloween 2's, but I don't know. I want to complain about it and say I wish they could have done something a little bit better. But then again, I really couldn't tell you what that is because their steelbooks have a certain look. They've got this kind of formal isn't the word. It's a very sharp art design. You know, it's not like their slipcover art. It's not like their release art that's kind of comic book cartoonish for some of it, depending on the artist, whether it be Justin Osborne, who is my favorite or guy, or other guys. But their steelbooks, they have a uniform look. You know.
Yeah, Halloween 3's art. I'll agree with you. I mean, I enjoy Halloween 2's art. Don't get me wrong. But 3's art is just because. See, the thing about 2's art is it's a shot from the movie. You open it, and if you kind of put it like this, front and back, it's the scene: Laurie hiding behind the medical cart, Michael's on fire, like it's a shot from the movie. But then Halloween 3 is completely like taking bits from the movie and putting it into a picture, which is like kids in front of the TV with the masks on, the Silver Shamrock logo, and then you have one of the cyborg dudes, or I think maybe it's multiple, I can't remember, and just the way that it just pops. There's just something about that art. It just pops and it grabs you. So not to say Halloween 2's isn't like cool, it is, but it pales in comparison to Halloween 3's.
Mm-hmm. We would get more noticeable releases this year. We would get Creepshow coming out on October 23rd. That's an awesome release. They gave you like the box with the book, like a comic book and everything. We would get the 4K scan steelbook of The Thing. And finally, on November 20th, 2018, we would get Candyman. And I was so excited for that release. That was a great day for me. Is that one that you own as well?
Okay, so no, it is not, but it is one that I have been actively trying to track down for probably the last year.
They were at Walmart's for a while, a year or so ago.
Yeah, and I, for whatever reason, I can't. I have not been able to find it in person, online. It's just a matter of me pulling the trigger on it. It really is. I mean, I love the movie, and I know that right before this new movie comes out, I'm probably just going to say screw it and just bite the bullet and pay. It's just, like we've talked about, multiple times already tonight. It's just like some of these people, some of these places that sell it back to you on Amazon and eBay and stuff, they will gouge you because they know they can. But as Christian said, and as I have said before, being a whore for these movies, you'll pay for it. When it comes, push comes to shove, you'll pay for it. So
yeah,
it's just a matter of me doing it.
Yeah, and it's a great release because it's uncut. Despite the fact that it's a very small extra uncut scene, it's still cool that they did that. I mean, it's simple, but they added it, and I really appreciate that. So next we would get in the latter part of 2018 the Critters box set, which I love the Critters box set. That was a great box set, and they would really start to make their boxes like hard. Like, and I know that's weird, but like I really like the hard shell cases for those box sets. They're sturdier, they're nicer, and they always do good art on those. Latter part of that year, we would get Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 on December 11th, 2018. A very controversial release on December 11th, 2018 was Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which I love that movie, but it is insane. It's batshit insane. Great release for that movie. Got the director's cut, got the uncut version. I'm just glad that they put that out. I remember the controversy for that. I would go to the comment sections and be like, you guys are better than this. And I'm thinking to myself, what? And other people were over the moon excited about it. But I love that movie. It's not my favorite, but it's damn close to it. It's insane. I just love it.
Yeah.
So then we would get, it's insane. Let's see, some notable releases, starting out 2019. Valentine, which is a really cool post-Scream slasher film from 2001. That's a great one. And so there have been some new ones, but this list isn't updated. But we've been going for a while. I mean, we have to at least take a minute. I have the Friday the 13th box set, and I love it. There was a lot of problems upon release with that, though, and I don't want to avoid those. I mean, people have talked about it, but a lot of people got double discs, double scratched discs. They had problems with the they had to reissue some discs. People were getting their stuff in busted and broken. I mean, I have personal people that I know that sent me pictures of their box sets. They were damaged. I don't know what happened. It was a mess. But everybody seems to be kind of happy. What's really interesting is that it's still available. I don't remember the Halloween box set, the 15 disc set, being available for that long.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was pretty quick. I mean, the 10 disc set would be available for another year or so. I would say about 2.5 to maybe 3 years that the 10 disc set was still retail available. But it's interesting that this set is released, and I would have expected them to do a companion set, like a 10 disc version of Friday the 13th. But then again, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen. Now, whether they do 4K scans, 4K releases of some of these, that's yet to be seen. But Scream Factory sent some amazing stuff, and I think that they are responsible for a lot of movies getting genuine fan bases now. about people our age and some a little bit younger even, of movies that they had decent runs in the theater. They had some success on home video, but I mean, Nick, there's tons of titles I think that, like The Fog. How many people probably love The Fog because Scream Factory put that out? You think?
Oh, it's. I mean, to that point, you could ask the same question for Halloween 3. I mean, another movie that was super underappreciated. That even The Fog, when it came out, I was talking to my mom about it. She saw it in theaters. That was not a movie that was like a Halloween or a Friday the 13th. That when it came out, people were talking all about it. No, it really garnered a following over the years, and so to your point, I mean, there's got to be thousands of people that have really gained an appreciation for that movie because of what Scream Factory did, as well as Halloween 3, as well as, I would even venture to say, Silent Night, Deadly Night, because believe it or not, you watch some of these. I don't know if you've watched a lot of people rank, horror or Christmas movies and stuff. And more now you see it, but over the years, that was not one I saw in a ton of people's lists, because I feel like the 80s slasher craze, there were some movies that really got, you know, caught in the middle of everything. They kind of almost got forgotten. And
Mm-hmm.
so, Scream Factory, for even their missteps, I mean, the things they've gotten right and the attention they've brought to some just genuinely great films that got lost in the shuffle of all the movies of the time. I mean, it's awesome. It's super cool to see. I mean, some of these releases, they deserved it. I mean, Halloween 3 deserved it forever. The Thing deserved it forever. The Fog deserved it forever. Silent Night deserved it forever. I mean, you can go on and on. There's just so many films that they did right by. So,
Yeah. And is there anything that you're still waiting for, hoping rather to get a release? I mean, I obviously have one, and that's the Nightmare on Elm Street series to get its well deserved box set of
I was
all
gonna
its extras
I was gonna say
and
that was gonna be mine.
yeah. And I mean, I've seen people like Pizzal, talk about what they would like to see happen with that, and the people that kind of work for Scream Factory, it's not like they're not trying. I mean, people always say, why would they not put that out? It's, of course they want to put that out. They know that there would be a market for that, but I just don't think it's that easy. I just don't think Warner
Yeah.
Brothers is like willing to do that at this point.
Well, and to that point, speaking to Sean Clark a couple weeks ago, he told me about the behind the scenes for the Halloween box set, because he was a part of the design and getting it together, which he also they didn't give him one. So he doesn't own it. He was like, I helped put the thing together and I didn't get one. But he told
Poor
me,
guy.
I know, he told me that was a pain in the ass to get that thing together. So you can only imagine, with some of these other franchises. I mean, God, some Friday the 13th fans, I'm sure like, should be super thankful that you guys got one, especially now with everything going on. I mean, like, Lord knows if we're ever going to see another Friday movie in our lifetimes. But I guess the one thing that should make Nightmare fans feel hopeful is that the rights reverted back to Craven's estate. So hopefully they do right by the fans. But you and I, it's eventually gonna happen. We know that. Like, it'll happen eventually, because there's just too much of a market for it. But that's the one I would say is Nightmare. I'd love
I
to have
hope
a
so.
box set of them.
God knows I hope so. So,
Oh yeah, you
guys,
do.
this has been fun, kind of going up and down the history of Scream Factory. We obviously just scratched the surface and just kind of talked about some of the most notable releases they had, but I mean, they have been so responsible, I think, for bringing some of these classic films to an audience, of people that just want to have physical media number one, and they've gained the trust of so many collectors there to do the. I mean, I had two come in today, two releases. He Knows You're Alone, and then Eyes of a Stranger, and these are little slasher films from the '80s that I've never heard of or seen. And He Knows You're Alone actually has I believe this is the debut of Tom Hanks in here. I mean, I'm seeing him on the young Tom Hanks, so that's really cool.
Ooh.
So they're still putting movies out. Every time I think, what the hell else could they put out? They've got more stuff coming up. There's notable releases coming out like House of Wax, which I'm excited about, and The Dead Zone. So I mean, there's still some marquee titles that they're doing. So I hope they stick around. I'm excited to see what they do next, and yeah. So this is a big thank you to Scream Factory. I keep wanting to say Shout Factory, and for everything that they've done for the horror genre and community. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, Scream Factory. If anyone ever watches this that works for Scream Factory or makes these decisions, people like Christian and myself, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. The only thing I could say off the top of my head is give me some banging standalone releases of Halloween 4, 5, and 6. You know, I love some steelbooks from those, but you know, you guys do great, and I appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right, guys.
Christian,
so this has been the debut.
Wouldn't you want
Go
a
ahead.
steelbook Halloween 4, 5, and 6?
Of course. Whatever if it's got Halloween on it, I'll probably buy it.
That's right.
So, but guys, this has been fun. This is the debut episode of the Uneeda Horror Podcast. Tune in next time when, if all goes well, we'll be talking about the Saw franchise from Saw to Spiral. If not, we'll have another great topic, and hopefully you'll be entertained. Whether you were listening to this while driving, exercising, chilling, watching it on TV, I'm glad that you hung around with us, and I hope you enjoyed the show. This is the start of something fun, so I'm very excited. We'll probably be having guests on here in the future. Interviews, the sky's the limit. So this has been Christian and Nick. We appreciate you watching and listening, whether it be on Spotify. We're going to be on all that stuff, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, you name it. So we love you guys. Nick, any last words for the people?
Just so you guys know, because Christian is waiting to confirm what the next topic will be with me seeing Spiral. I'm seeing Spiral Sunday at 7:30 p.m., so it will be about Saw leading up to Spiral. And 2, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And yeah, I look forward to doing this. I had a blast, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it on no matter what platform you were on. And I look forward to being back here with Christian as often as we do it. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
All right, guys. Be good.